Welcome friends, myself Rutu Patel, lecturer at Parul Institute of Engineering and Technology, welcomes you all to the active learning video session today on the subject Applied Science Chemistry. Okay, in this session we will be discussing the entire GTU paper solution of the summer 2012. What we are going to do is we are basically selecting a paper of the summer exam 2012 and we will provide the solution to each and every questions, and we will try to learn in this session how a question paper should be written in a well mannered in order to score good marks in the GTU. Okay, for that reason the first and the foremost thing that comes to your mind is whenever a GTU question paper comes to you, you are supposed to read each and every lines in a very proper manner. Then we have to understand each and every questions and decide which question we are going to attempt while reading the GTU paper. Suppose if you are planning that you are going to attempt question 1 A, B, C or question 1 or other option of the B, C, D, anything of the above options given in the question paper, you should be very clear in the mind that what you are going to write for that particular question. The content that you write plays a very important role. Suppose if you are writing any paper and in that paper if you are describing any quality, like suppose you are asked that write down the construction and working of the standard hydrogen electrode, then suppose if you are writing only the diagram and then you are supposed describing anything in the different manner, that will not be the proper answer. You have to first draw the diagram, label it, and after labeling you have to make ensure that whatever is shown in the diagram is to be reflected itself in the theory writing of that particular question. Okay, so whenever you are writing or attempting any question, you have to see the weightage first. How much weightage is given to that particular question, that also plays a very important role. Suppose in the GTU, if it is a 5 marks long question and if you are writing very few lines on that 5 marks question, that does not justify the answer. So what does it means? That your marks will get deducted because already you are writing a very low content in paper, and apart from writing the low content you are also putting lot of mistakes apart from the low content, so that becomes the negative error in the paper. Apart from these things, the one thing that you have to ensure, that is the way of writing each and every answer after reading the question. Suppose in certain questions if you are asked that write down the diagram or write down the construction and working, or suppose they are asking you to define something, or some filling the blanks is asked, or numerical is asked, then you have to tackle each and every question in a very different manner. Okay, suppose there is a definition asked, say suppose it is a definition of the lubricant, then you have to ensure that you are writing the definition of the lubricant. Apart from that, you are also writing some example if possible from your side to provide in order to justify that particular definitions. Then you can say that your entire answer is complete. If a definition is asked for the 2 marks, then you are supposed to write a definition with the well proper scientific words and also the example with that particular definition. Apart from that, the one thing that you can always remember and keep in mind is while opting the filling the blanks, if any numerical based filling the blank is asked, then you don't have to show any calculations for that. You have to straightway write the answers for that particular thing. Okay, and suppose there is something like that, describe the following thing or write in detail or cite the particular thing with the example, then entire things that you should remember is this, that you have to write down the example for all the things. So it means your example can be a chemical reaction or it can be just a simple theory citing that is the proof of that particular definition. Okay, so that one you have to remember when you are handling so many things. Suppose if you are writing any example, in that case you have to ensure that whatever example you have chosen to justify your topic in the answer, that should be really appropriate one. It should not be like something two-minded. It says something and the theory written is something different. That should not happen. Suppose if you are attempting the long questions, in that particular case, after writing the long question, you have to ensure that apart from writing the question, whatever you have written is similar thing is shown in the diagram or not. That is also very important. Suppose you are drawing a electrochemical cell, you are drawing very perfect figure but not writing the things in your theory part, that what is acting as cathode, what is acting as anode, and what is the things, then again your marks gets cut in the GTU. So that is not a fair answer that is expected by you from the examiner. In some cases, while writing the GTU paper, it is normally seen that students attempt all the questions and they always feel that the best of the 5 questions will be checked and according to that the marks will be given. Actually, that is not the right technique to write the paper. You have to select, suppose GTU is saying that attempt any 5 questions, then in that particular case, you cannot opt all the questions together and give a choice to examiner to check any 5. So that is not a fair way of attempting the question paper. You have to make sure that you are selecting the best 5 questions of your knowledge, so that there is no problem when you are writing that particular questions in the detail. So this all things also play a very important role. Second thing is your handwriting. Whenever you are writing any GTU paper, it always seems that the handwriting of the students are not good. So that is also playing a major role in getting the low marks in the examination. If your handwritings are very unfair and you can say very rubbish handwriting, then that doesn't create a good impression on the mind of examiner. Apart from the knowledge, good handwriting also plays a very important role. You can write any answer as far as it's not always necessary that you write all the questions as per given in the textbook, or you can say that all the questions should be like something you are mugging up all the answers and then you are producing same thing in the exam. You can use your creativity, your extra knowledge and your examples to justify the answer even though it is not given in the book. Also, you can use the higher reference book examples. If you have read so many good books or reference books, then you can refer the same things and then you can cite the example from the reference books in the GTU examination. It is always generally you can say that misconcept is there in the mind of students that if they write from the textbook then only they will be given good marks, otherwise not. But actually that is not the case. You have to remember that the we teachers are always going to give the fair marks based on the good writing and good knowledge. It's not like that from where you are learning, but it is something important is what you are learning. That is very important. So whenever you are attempting GTU question paper, be very precise to the question's answer, because what happens, suppose they have asked something and you are writing something different, then what happens, it will take so much of your time, and by that time at the end of the paper you will feel that there was a shortage of time, but actually in reality the problem occurs because you have not understood the paper. That's why, suppose they are asking definition and in definition you are writing more theory, then that is not going to justify the definition. Again from that, if they are asking any numerical and in that numerical you are straightway writing the answers after doing, you can say, the rough calculations, then you will not get the marks, because in numerical you are supposed to show each and every step. Whatever you are showing there is very important. All the steps in the numerical shown in a very systematical manner plays an important role. If you want to get a good marks and a good score, you have to take care of the good handwriting. You have to ensure that the best part of your knowledge is delivered in the paper. That has to be done. Whenever you are leaving the examination hall, at the same time you have to take care of the thing that the one thing that plays very important thing, that is you have to check your paper before submitting it back. What students do, they are always in hurry to leave the examination hall. That should not happen. You should check the paper twice, then submit it to the examiner. You should not be in the hurry. Make sure that you are giving the exam. It's not like making the fun in the examination hall. Make sure that whatever you have written is correct. If any mistakes are there, with the peace of the mind, kindly read the paper and make corrections. These all things will play a very important role in a good scoring in the GTU examinations. Also, your attitude and your learning is also defined from the papers. We can get an idea what kind of psychology you possess, what kind of thinking you possess, and your answers can teach us many things. And we always expect that our students should come up with something different in the papers that is based on the true knowledge, and not something like whatever they feel like writing and they are writing. That should not happen. Be very serious when you are attempting the paper. Read all the questions very peacefully. See the mark weightage on each and every question. According to that, decide the content for each and every questions and then start writing. Don't be in the hurry. Once you start writing, you should not feel that if you would have attempted above 2 questions, it would have been a good thing for you. Don't feel like that. Whatever question options that you are choosing, that should be very confident level, and it should be very perfect, that so that no problem arises when you end up with the paper. It should not be like something that you feel sad when you come out of examination hall, that you would have done much more better when you are leaving the hall. See, all the things are in your hands. It is on your task. All the papers are easy or tough, that is not actually the thing. It is your preparation that makes the papers easy and tough. That is more important when you are attempting any papers in the examination. Let us try to proceed ahead. In this session, we will be taking summer exam, GTU exam 2012 paper with the entire solution, and in that solution we will be giving you the idea how actually you should opt the questions and what is to be expected from you when you are writing a question with that particular requirements to be specified. Okay, so that we will be moving ahead in the next things. Let us proceed ahead. You can see here the question 3 that was shown earlier. They explain the formation of the ionic bond with suitable example. Write down the characteristics of ionic compound. So that you can see here, it is weightage is having 5 marks. At the same time, you can see here the first point that we have covered is the definition. The second point that we have covered is the example which they have demanded from us, that is the chemical reaction. And the third thing that is expected, that is characteristics. So all the 3 things combined together makes a long answer of the 5 marks. Next is, you have seen here that write down the formula, properties and uses of the following material. They are expecting the 3 things from us, that is formula, properties and uses. We can see that they have given us 2 polymers, that is bakelite and thiocol. This bakelite and thiocol properties we have listed, okay, and at the same time we have found out the uses, that is applications of the bakelite. Okay, so this is very clear. Then we have seen the thiocol properties also, that it is very flexible, resistance to gasoline oil, aromatic solvent, light and air. It has good tear resistance and low permeability to gases. It cannot be made hard. What does that mean? It says that it cannot be vulcanized. This is a very specialty of the thiocol. Apart from that, you can see here the applications of the thiocol to coat the wire cables, manufacture gaskets and used to line the oil tanks. This we have seen. The weightage of this particular question is 5 marks, so it is expected that you cover entire points that is demanded in the paper. Let us try to proceed ahead. You can see here very clearly that they have asked the definition of the oxidation, that is removal of electrons, and you can say at the same time removal of electrons, this process is your oxidation. Whenever you are defining the lubricant, you can cite here very clearly any substance introduced between 2 moving or sliding surface to reduce the frictional resistance between them is called lubricant. Okay, so this is very important. This is the definition of lubricant. If you can cite example, you can take a graphite, or you can say that the graphite is an example of the solid lubricant. Okay, in oxidation you can cite the example of, you can say that what is happening in the zinc. You can show the reaction, Zn goes to Zn plus 2 electron. So this is the oxidation, that reaction you can actually show. Then what they are asking, the third definition is what is orbital. If you can see here, orbital is three-dimensional space around the nucleus in which probability of finding the electron with certain energy is maximum. Now what does it means? Your orbital is actually the three-dimensional space. That means it is x, y and z axis which is around the nucleus in which the probability of finding electron with certain energy is maximum. So that is actually the definition of orbital. Fourth thing that is expected is ppm. The definition of the ppm is demanded from your side, that is, it is defined as number of parts by weight of calcium carbonate per million parts by weight of water. This has to be emphasized that it is calcium carbonate. You cannot replace it. Be very careful when you are writing the salt name. Then what they are writing? Per million parts by weight of water. So this is the thing. Next is, you can see here question number 4, that is the next question asked in the GTU exam. You can see there are three parts of the question 4, that is A, B and C section. In the A part, again there is some expectation by the 4 subparts shown in the question. What they are asking, the first A part consists of write the name and formula of monomer of following polymers. It means what? You are supposed to write down the name of the monomers and formula of the following polymers. Okay, so we will be taking that. It is having the weightage of the 5 marks. Let us see what are the monomers of the following polymers. Suppose there is a PVC, that is polyvinyl chloride, then the monomer of this PVC is vinyl chloride. Okay, if there is a Orlon, then monomer of this polymer is vinyl cyanide. If there is a nylon 6,6 polymer, then monomer of this polymer is adipic acid and hexamethylene diamine. Okay, so that is known as your HMDA. It is very clear that we are writing the name of monomer as asked in the question. So be very precise. In this question they are straightway writing the name of the monomers and also writing the formula for that. In PVC you can see it is polyvinyl chloride, so monomer turns out to be vinyl chloride. Orlon,